Shane.
I'm Kelsey,
And
this
that's
is
Dixie,
and
we're Love Hut for Life. We've been living for 43 weeks full-time in our homemade truck camper.
That's right, guys. For the past few weeks, we've actually been off truck doing some repairs on the house, but at the same time making it our mission to show you all of the cool things there are to see in Shane's home state of Alabama.
This week we had the pleasure of going to two awesome places. One of them is Rickwood Caverns. The other one is called the Dismal Canyon. Two things that I consider to be absolutely Alabama.
Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy this week. If you do, be sure and comment below and let us know what you think. On Saturday, we left Dixie and Adzo behind because we had an adventure to go on that they just couldn't come on with us.
Our first stop was just 10 miles down the road in my hometown, Rickwood Caverns. It features miles of hiking trails, a public playground, as well as a swimming pool full of cave water.
But we, of course, were there to see the cave. While this cave is believed to date back 260 million years, to our knowledge, it wasn't discovered until the 1950s when a man named Eddie Rickles and his troop full of Boy Scouts stumbled upon it in the woods.
Since 1974, it has been publicly owned and named under one of the many Alabama state parks.
Since all of this was formed while Alabama was still underneath the ocean floor, it's easy to find prehistoric fish fossils all through the cave walls.
Fossils are easier to find here because unlike most of the caves in this region that I grew up exploring with a flashlight, this one has power and lots of it provided to you by a generator.
Believe it or not, these lights that we're enjoying weren't actually installed for commercial purposes. Back in the Cold War, the locals of this town thought that it would be a great idea to use this as a bomb shelter.
They intended on bringing the whole community down here. They had food and water to last almost 2,000 people for 3 whole months.
It's a good thing that never happened, because what they didn't realize is that by shutting the doors, they were actually cutting off their own oxygen supply, and none of them would have lasted more than a month anyways.
Also, the only plan they had for a bathroom was an empty water barrel, nor did they have a way to bathe. It was poor planning, to say the least. You gotta give them an A for effort, though.
Now it just serves as a mile-long underground history lesson for all of the Alabama residents to come.
Now, due to the Boy Scouts' hard work, the cave features over 300 stairs, half of which take you out of this hole.
At the top of that very long staircase is a museum that holds all of the cool artifacts that they found inside and the beautiful history behind this place.
Rickwood Caverns was just our first stop of the day. With a short 80-mile drive, we were on our way to our next spot.
Dismal's Canyons. This place might just be the coolest place that we've ever been to. I was in absolute awe at first sight.
This wooden staircase takes you down to the canyon floor, which hosts a sunken forest, and this place can only be described as something straight out of a Tolkien novel. I swore I saw a hobbit running by.
The deeper you go into this place, the cooler it becomes. Around every turn and corner, there's something else majestical to see.
Dismal's Canyon was occupied nearly 10,000 years ago by Paleo-Americans. Artifacts of them being there have been discovered under different bluff shelters, grottos, and other sanctuaries.
It's actually one of the oldest primeval forests east of the Mississippi River, untouched by axe or fire, and it's open to the public year-round. This area was lifted upward during the geological events of the late Paleozoic era. Over time, the force of draining waters helped to carve a canyon and a gorge system punctuated throughout by dozens of sandstone-sheltered grottos, 2 waterfalls, 6 natural bridges, and giant moss-covered boulders strewn about by ancient earthquakes.
More than 350 different species of exotic flora have been identified by botanists exploring this canyon. The roots of trees clutch giant boulders instead of growing underground. A clump of trailing arbutus grows out of solid rock instead of from leaf mold. Microhabitats of moss and ferns cover boulders like thick blankets, and a giant Canadian hemlocks rise into the air.
Is like stepping back in time. And we're not the only ones who think so. It was actually used to film a segment for the Discovery Channel documentary When Dinosaurs Roamed America. It's really not hard to imagine different dinosaurs roaming about in this canyon. And in 2006, they actually came pretty close to finding one, or at least a creepy creature. A hellbender, or giant salamander, was found. It's currently the most recently encountered hellbender in Alabama and one of only 3 specimens that have been found in the state in the past 20 years. It's about 2 feet in length.
Unfortunately, even a place this beautiful has darkness in its path. In 1838, U.S. troops rounded up Chickasaw Native Americans, forcing them from their ancestral lands and held them under guard in this canyon for 2 weeks before herding them like cattle to Muscle Shoals, where they embarked on the Trail of Tears.
Sometime after that, early settlers built a watermill, a cotton gin, and a sawmill. The mill and water wheel were destroyed by a flood sometime in the 1950s, but one of the millstones is still below Rainbow Falls, where it landed after the flood. It was those early settlers who first named this hidden canyon, only a century ago. And they were largely of Scottish and Irish descent. Some believe that they brought that name from the beautiful and rugged spot in Scotland called Dismals. It makes sense that this place would remind them of home.
If you're fortunate enough to visit this magical place during the fall, it becomes even more magical. That time of year, there is a glowworm that inhabits these canyon walls called Dismalites. They're a close cousin to the glowworms found in Australia and New Zealand, but as far as this region is concerned, it's one of the only places to find them. We didn't get to see them.
As much as we promote free camping and the use of national forest lands and Bureau of Land Management lands, we have to admit that this place would definitely be worth paying to camp. And I think we're going to have to bring the Love Hut back here. In order for us to do that, though, we needed to get back on the road and back to our house that is still off of our truck, needing our attention.
We also knew we had two furry little friends back at home that were needing our attention, but when we got back, only one was there.
We lit a fire and waited for Adzo to show up, but we never saw her, and Dixie was pretty upset.
Still no signs of the cat the next morning, but we had a lot of work to do.
Over 19,000 miles of travel down mostly unpaved roads and running into just about every weather situation that you can imagine, our house has taken a bit of a beating. Our door being one of the main problems. So today we decided that we were going to do something about it.
Due to the fact that we have an unusually narrow door frame, I had to construct my own door, which meant I took 2 3/4-inch pieces of plywood and combined them together to create one solid door. While I was working on this, Kelsey got started on a project that we consider quite important for the next coming months, and that's a new sign for the back of the Love Hut.
While the door cured, Shane kept himself busy finding ways to use all of the wood that he's managed to salvage from his new job.
In addition to finishing some of the trimming around the house, I got to work on finishing up this outdoor kitchen / storage drawer of ours that we call the basement.
The next morning, Shane was off to fund future adventures by digging holes and building fences, while I got started on working on some of the projects that we just didn't get done the day before. In addition to getting all of the interior trim pieces stained and ready to attach, I also got to work on our sign some more. While the sign isn't quite true yet, we're thinking that it will be before we make it back to Alabama. So we wanted to have it ready to leave right with my wedding dress for his mom to bring it to us when the time is right.
And the next morning, I was off to work in the rain.
While me and Dixie hid in the house and found some work to do inside.
And when I got home, it was time to go celebrate my favorite old lady.
Happy birthday, Mima! That rain did not clear up in the morning, leaving me and Dixie to find ways to entertain ourselves in the house. We got a little bit of a break that afternoon, and Dixie sat and pouted and cried because her little friend still wasn't coming home, even with another fire.
I was upset about that too, but I had no time to spare and started working on hanging all the new trim pieces that we had previously stained and cut this week.
I am so happy with the way all of this turned out and can't wait until we can do the same with the bedroom. Another day full of rain brought to us by Hurricane Laura left us with not a lot that we could get done the next day, other than just getting the house put back together.
And the next day was enough to keep me from having to go to work at all. It's okay. Why are you shaking so much? It's not even thundering. Is it water? Does it scare you? Are you scared of water?
With not a lot that we could get done on the house in the rain, we decided to take the opportunity to head into town to the local flea market to see what we could find to make the house a little bit more interesting.
Kels wasn't disappointed with what she found and couldn't wait to get home to see if her new window would fit.
It did fit, and we even got a break in the rain long enough that we got some projects done, including finally finishing the Hillbilly Yeti.
We also got to put in a little more work on our basement door, but mostly we just goofed off and enjoyed our extra day together.
And then closed out yet another week at Meemaw's house.
Who showed up today? She's been missing for a whole week.
Yeah, guys, we are all very excited to see this little girl, and I think Dixie's the most excited out of all of us.
We'd like to take a minute to thank each and every one of you for following us along so far on our journey. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up and the little notification bell so you get notified when we post a new video, which is every Saturday. Also, if you have a minute, make sure you leave a comment below and let us know what you think.
Yeah, and guys, if you're looking for a new way to support Love Hut for Life, we did actually create a Patreon page, and the link for that will be below. All funds brought to us from that page will go towards this channel and improving the overall quality. So if you like what you're seeing so far and want to see it get better over time, that's how that happens. Thank you so much, and guys, we'll see you next week with some more awesome adventures for you. Peace out. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.